Dear students, Assalamu alaikum. Again, I have come back in front of you to take a new lesson for your betterment, for completing your syllabus for the subject of accounting. And this lecture is for class 9 and 10 business studies group. And of course, it is also for English version students. Today, our chapter is number 5. That is the name of accounts. We have already completed the 3 lecture for this chapter. But today, I have come here for solving the home assignment which was given by me to my favorite students. Well, my dear students, my dear boys and girls. So, at this moment, you can take your accounting home assignment copy and match the solution of creative questions and follow my instruction and speech. Dear students, I think you have taken your copy to correct the solution of creative question. Okay, now starting the solution of home assignment. Question 1, which this was given in lecture number 2. Requirement A. Determine the amount of current assets. From this creative question or STEM, we have to determine the amount of current assets. In this STEM, 2 current assets or assets are available in this business. Number 1, commission receivable, that is accrued commission. We know that any kind of receivable money is indicated as asset. Another one is available debtors amount. Debtors, that is the another name of accounts receivable. You also know all kinds of receivable amount is asset. Debtors, so it is one kind of asset, and that is the current assets. So in this question, total amount of current assets like 50,000. I think this answer is matched with your solution copy. Now you can go to the requirement B. Determine the amount of revenues, that is income. So I think you have written in your copy the home assignment, and now you match the answer with me. Totally 6 revenues amount are available in this STEM. Interest on investment, that is the amount of interest received for 13,000. Sublet rent, that is the amount of rent received from subtenant. This is one also a revenue or income. Apprenticeship premium, it's another income or revenue. Sales is the main source of income of any business. Discount receipt, when commission receipt, rent receipt, interest receipt, discount receipt, always treated as revenues or income. Last one, bank interest. Then you can write it bank interest allowed or interest received from bank. So bank interest always indicated as revenue. So in this question, total amount of revenues is 2,85,000. Okay, I think you are matching with the answer. Now you can go to the requirement C. Determine the amount of expenses. You know that from the lecture number 1 on the chapter of 5, that is accounts, I have already discussed about the ample exercise or ample examples of assets, liabilities, equity items, revenues and expenses. So in this system, totally 8 expenses are available. The first one is wages, that is wages paid to worker. Take 5,000. Insurance premium, that is insurance premium paid, that is another expenses. Advertisement, that is publicity expenses of any business or of any product. This is one kind of expenses. Bad debt or uncollectible debt, which is irrecoverable from customer, that is one kind of loss, that is expenses. So bad debt is stack up 3,000 is included in expenses amount. Depreciation is the deducting or reducing amount of any fixed asset, so it is also one kind of loss, that is expenses. So always you can write the depreciation amount is in expenses amount. Purchase, this is the big amount of expenses for any business. Purchase or main source of expenses is purchase, so it is an expenses. Carries in what? Carries out what? Always carries or carrying cost of any product, then it is treated as expenses. Duty or import duty or export duty or excise duty, any kind of duty is always treated as expenses. So in this system, total amount of expenses is 1,80,000. I think this answer is written in your copy and messing with the answer. Now you can go to the home assignment which was given in lecture number 3 from your textbook. Create question number 3. Okay, requirement A. Determine the amount of expenses from the system. In this question or in this system, 2 transactions are related to expenses. That is the first one, date of March 2, cement bought for business. Cement is one kind of goods or product in this business. So it is one kind of expenses. Taka 4 lakh. Tracked and paid, dated up to March 20. Tracked rent, that is the transportation of expenses. Transportation in, transportation out, always is treated as expenses. So in this question, two expenses amount are available. Total of taka 4,25,000. Now we can go to the next slide for solution of requirement B, the creative question number 3 from your textbook. Okay, requirement B, determine the debit and credit from the transaction of March 2, March 6, March 9 and March 15. You have already known from the previous many lessons how to determine the debit and credit. So I think you have completed very easily at your home, but you can mess with the answer. Now, dated of March 2. Cement purchased for taka 4 lakh for business. In this business, cement one kind of product or goods. We know that when any kinds of goods or product purchased, then it is treated as expenses. That is the name of account, purchase. And always buying goods or buying product, then cash has gone. So in this transaction, purchase account is debit and cash account is credit. Next one, March 6, new scale purchase for business. Basically, it is a measuring scale. Measuring scale, that is one kind of equipment. So measuring scale is one kind of equipment, that is office equipment. So when any scale purchase, then office equipment is increased. From the rules of debit and credit, we can get office equipment increase, that is asset increase. So the respective asset account, office equipment account is debit. And for buying this one, cash has gone from business. So cash one kind of asset, that is asset decrease. So cash account is credit for this transaction. Next one, March 9. Check received from earlier dues. That is, it may be question. Another one, check received from customer, or check received from debtors, or check received from accounts receivable, or check received from any person or institution. When we check receipt, then always bank account is debit because bank balance is increased. And receipt from customer. So who is the customer? When sold goods on credit, then account receivable is created, or debtors is created, or customer is created. When customer given to me in any amount, then account receivable is decreased, or debtors account is decreased. So in this question, account receivable, that is one kind of asset, it is decreased. So account receivable is credit. Now you can write in this transaction, bank account is debit, account receivable account is credit. Date of March 15, withdrawn from bank. It may be another transaction withdrew from bank for business use or for office use. So withdrawn from bank. Cash increased in business, that is the asset increase. From the rules of debit and credit, we can get when cash increase, that is asset increase, so cash account is debit, and bank balance is decreased, that is asset decreased, so the respective asset account is credit. In this transaction, you can write cash account debit, bank account credit. I think you have written in your copy. And also correct answer completed. Okay, now you can go to the next page. Requirement C. Again, determine the debit and credit for the transaction of March 18, 20, 26 and 28. The same format is followed. March 18. Cement sold to Reza traders. Take a 1 lakh. Cement, there is one kind of goods or product in this business. When cement sold in this business, so this is the revenue source of this business. So sales account is created. Sales, one kind of revenue. We know that when revenue increased, then the revenue account is credit. So in this transaction, sales account is credit, but sold to Reza traders. No information is given in cash or by check. Only Reza traders. You have to know when sold to any customer, then it is treated as on credit or on account transaction. So Reza traders, he is our customer. That is, the account's name is debtors or account receivable. So account receivable is increased, that is the asset increased. So you can write account receivable or debtors in bracket Reza traders debit and sales account is credit. March 20. Truck rent paid. Truck rent, there is one kind of expenditure. There is the name of transportation or transportation in. When expense increase, then expenses account is debit. So in this transaction, transportation expenses is debit and cash has gone from the business, so cash account is credit. Number 26. Return from Reza traders. When sold to Reza traders, then Reza traders or debtors account is debit. But goods when returned from Reza traders, then always Reza traders or debtors or account receivable account is credit. So his return is available. Return from any customer, then it is treated as sales return. You have to remember it in all time. Return from customer always treated as sales return. So in this transaction, you can write sales return account is debit, debtors or account receivable, that is the name of Reza traders, is credit. This is the last transaction. Motor van purchased. Motor van, it is one kind of fixed asset or asset. Motor van is increased, that is asset increased in business. You know that when any asset purchased or increased in business, then the respective account or asset account is debit. And for buying this one, cash has gone from business, so cash account is credit. So you can write for this transaction, motor vehicle account is debit, cash account is credit. Okay, dear learners, I have completed the full lecture for this chapter. That is the name of account. Okay, you can see in the slide, the screen, practice makes a man perfect. It is very necessary to know more and more practice. Which items in this chapter? Debit and credit, classifications of account. In this chapter, main topics of classification of account, but always debit credit is main important topics of any chapter. You have to know from this moment. You always practice more and more debit and credit for the betterment of accounting subject. Thank you very much. Thanks for being today. Allah Hafiz.